Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning from Australia, at least. Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's great to be here again for an online class. And today it's a special one. We have a guest. We have Leonard here, who I will mute in a second. Here you are. Hi, mate. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
What's the time for you, Leonard?
Oh, it's 10 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, so it is a little bit late, but not too late.
No, it's all right.
Awesome, very good. Thank you. So yeah, it's thank you so much for coming in and talking with us about Cronos. We might just wait another minute. We give more people the opportunity to join, and then we start.
Okay,
How,
that sounds
how,
amazing.
hey, how's the weather where you are? Is it still cold?
Yeah, it's always cold here. It's Denmark, so
Oh, okay. Okay. Are you near Copenhagen?
no, I'm in Aarhus.
Is that
It's
north?
yeah, um, yeah, or like it's the middle of Denmark.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
I visited Denmark in my young years, and I absolutely loved it. It's a beautiful country.
yeah, it's nice here, but I mean the taxes are not that favorable.
Yep, I know. Yeah. Well, they. I'm pretty sure that they're higher than here, but Australia is not much better. But anyway,
Yeah,
it is what it is. All good. All right, so let's start. It's 7:02 in the morning here. Welcome everyone to our online class for today, which is about investing on other blockchains, and particularly we're talking about Cronos today. And we have Leonard, who I welcome once again. Thank you so much, Leonard from Cronos, to be here today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. How's everything going?
yes. It's going great. So should I just start?
Yeah,
Or yeah,
by all means, by all means. So we're just
yeah.
having a friendly conversation in our virtual lounge here today, just explaining to the community, and we're just talking about blockchains in general, and the fact that obviously most of us here are used to BSC probably,
Yeah.
but there's obviously many other blockchains, and today we're going to talk about that, and particularly on Kronos. So please, yeah, Leonard, feel free to talk to us about this.
Yeah. So my idea was to maybe start the conversation with explaining blockchains in general, so
Mm,
everyone maybe is on the same page, because
yeah,
I also think a lot of people are just basically using blockchains, but they don't really get what's behind it and how it actually works. So I'll try my best to make it somehow understandable.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's okay. That's okay. And you know what? If if I think that some of the concepts are a little bit too hard, I'll just tell you, hey, can we maybe make it more simple or anything like that? But yeah, our community is pretty switched on for crypto.
yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, I think I want to start by just basically explaining what Bitcoin is about, because I mean that's the foundation of all blockchains. Bitcoin was the original idea, and then other blockchains used and modified the technology. So the idea of Bitcoin is that, yeah, probably everyone knows that you have the blocks that can be mined, and the way this basically works is that you need to find a random number. So it's basically a mathematical function where you can you have to guess the output or like the input of a function, but then you can always verify it with the guessed value if the value is right. So when someone guesses the right value, basically you are allowed to mine a new block, and in this block you can then add new transactions, and every transaction basically consists of taking the old data and adding to it. So for example, send from wallet A to wallet B, then it checks if you have enough balances and so on. And the way this works is that part of the guessed value is also the old guessed value. So basically it's a chain of blocks. So you can't modify old blocks because then the new guessed value won't be right anymore.
That's right.
And
That's right.
yeah, so
Sorry, Leonard. And this is what when we talk about miners mining Bitcoin or other proof of work blockchains, this is what they do, right? They
yeah,
are the ones solving that particular block, and they're the ones that
yeah.
mine it.
And yeah, but there's then one thing, when you find like this random number, you would basically be able to include some transactions that are not valid in this new block. So for example, if one wallet doesn't have enough Bitcoin to transfer, but you could still in theory say um, wallet A transfer 20 Bitcoins to wallet B, even though wallet A just has 10 Bitcoins. But the way this works is that then all the other miners see these transactions and say, hey, this is not valid.
Mm-hmm.
And basically over time, most miners would agree on this block is not valid. So basically you split the blockchain up into two blockchains, where you then hope that most of the mining power agrees on that the false transactions are actually false.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I
And
think this is something that's kind of important that I want to get into later again.
I think it's extremely important, Leonard, because this is the foundation of why we can trust the blockchain.
Yeah,
Otherwise, nothing matters. If we can trust those transactions or the ledger that we read, again for that community, when you go to BSC scan and you look at the transactions for a particular contract or an address, you go there and you know that those transactions are real, have happened.
yeah,
If you can trust that, well, what's the point? Why are we even here?
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so this is basically the what everything builds upon. I hope everyone kind of understands it. So yeah, then there was Vitalik. He basically saw Bitcoin and that it was used to basically just transfer money, and his idea was that you could basically use that for so much more. So then he basically, to say it super simple, he modified um, Bitcoin to not only have like sending transactions, so BTC from wallet A to B, but the inclusion of smart contracts that basically is making all the D apps and so on that we have today possible.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the programming language he made for that, it's called Solidity. Um, and yeah, that's I don't think I need to go much deeper into it. It's basically just you can run code on the blockchain, the same as you can run transactions. And
Yeah.
today there are like a lot of other blockchains that basically build on the same principle that
Hmm.
you can run code on a blockchain. One of them is, for example, BSC, but there are so much more, AVAX, Cronos, and so on. And
Hmm.
they all have like small differences, but once you develop something for Ethereum, it's super easy to just also deploy it on Binance Smart Chain or Cronos or any other. It's called EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine based blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So, Leonard, what is the implication of, just very briefly, before we start talking about Kronos in particular, but we talked about Bitcoin, the first blockchain, that set the basis for everything. All of a sudden, we had a way to have transactions online that we could trust each other without knowing each other, without going to an intermediary. Then Ethereum came, and then Ethereum was able to implement smart contracts, and that's why we call BSC the smart chain. What's the implication of those smart contracts? Why is that so important, really?
Basically, before smart contracts, you were just able to have BTC, like Bitcoin, on the BTC chain. So there was no possibility to have any other tokens or any other functionality than just sending those Bitcoins around. So so what Ethereum basically made possible is to have, for example, exchanges on the blockchain. So you interact with one smart contract and then you trade. They are so-called ERC20 tokens. So it's basically a token in the form of a smart contract. You're able to trade that on a decentralized exchange, because before you were just able to send Bitcoin to any exchange wallet. Then they had like a centralized exchange there for you
Yeah,
and
like
could,
Binance.
well, yeah, exactly. And all the applications of crypto, most of it's just possible because of the implementation of the Ethereum virtual machine. Because the basic idea behind crypto is that it's decentralized. Once something is deployed on the blockchain, no one should be able to, for example, like seize your funds.
Mm-hmm.
So what we, for example, have seen with Russia and the US, I know there are a lot of political opinions, but in my view, it's, for example, bad that the US is just able to seize Russian funds in US dollars, even though maybe it's like, so Russia did something bad, but on the other hand, that the US has the power to do this. It's just I don't know, if some country does something that doesn't align with the interest of the US,
Yeah.
then they would basically be able to seize funds.
And especially if we think about the citizens of Russia in this case, because obviously, again, we're not getting into the political side of it, but the citizens themselves that have no blame whatsoever, all of a sudden are not able to do certain things because their leaders are doing certain things. Whereas with crypto, they should be able to have their finances and be able to keep their finances and do whatever they want with their finances.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
where the great benefit of crypto is.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that background. I think Leonard, you did very well in discussing this. This sets the foundation for all our next classes about other blockchains, friends. It all started with Bitcoin. Ethereum brought in smart contracts, and now we're talking about blockchains that have smart contracts capabilities. And in fact, one of these is Cronos, isn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, Cronos is one of the newest chains, or like a relatively new chain. So it's basically, it has been created by Crypto.com, and So the reason why I think that Cronos has a great future is basically the first thing is the marketing. So Crypto.com, they're just pushing a lot of money into marketing their own chain. They're helping projects on their chain grow and so on. When you, for example, look at Binance Smart Chain, they are just at this point, they're not doing anything to promote their chain anymore. Their tokens drop, and they are also doing some stuff that I actually don't agree with. So one thing, for example, is the nodes. So they had problems with too many transactions. Yeah, basically congesting the network. So too many people want to send or interact with smart contracts, send transactions to the blockchain, and then it got super slow and almost crashed and so on. And
Many,
basically how this,
many times.
yeah, many times. But the thing is, this can happen. This also happens for Kronos. But my problem is how they solved this problem. So what Binance did, they basically said before you needed a dual core PC, now you need a quad core. Before you needed 8 gigabyte of RAM, now you need 16 gigabyte of RAM. Before you needed like a normal hard drive, now you need the SSD. So the actual performance and PC you need to run a node on Binance Smart Chain, it's just increasing and increasing all the time.
Yeah.
And it's because they are not like trying to actually make improve the performance on the chain by making their code better. They just say, yeah, your computer needs more performance. That's the way to solve the problem.
Mm, mm.
So yeah, I don't know if I have a real life example for this. Um,
Well, it's typical. For example, video games are the same. Where if you want to play the latest video game, you need a better computer with a better graphics card.
yeah, but this is still different because there you get, in my opinion, you get more out of it, and they still optimize it as much as possible.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing with like, it's maybe, yeah, what can I don't know, it's maybe you could call it, there's a water leak on the Binance Smart Chain, and the way they fix it is just by putting some tape on the hole where
Yeah,
the water leak is, instead
yeah.
of maybe replacing uh,
Replacing the pipe.
the the pipe.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, it's actually a good analogy. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. So, what about Kronos? Does Kronos instead try to make the chain more lean?
Yeah,
And
so Binance Smart Chain, it's actually just copied from Ethereum, and I mean Ethereum, they afterwards they develop things, they improve performance, but then Binance Smart Chain's development progress, for example, it's, yeah, they just didn't do a lot of stuff. And on the other hand, there's Cronos. They are using basically a framework that can be used to build blockchains. So I don't know if you know Terra. Um,
I,
it's, for
I, I, I
example,
I know of Terra and a little bit about it, but not extensively.
yeah. So this is, for example, another big chain that's built on the same technology, and there are some other smaller uh, chains, and the SDK, it's called Cosmos. So if you
Yes. Yes.
go on yeah, CoinGecko or something, you can also see something that's Cosmos Hub.
That
And
that.
the
Sorry, I'm laughing because I just remember that I invested in Cosmos, I think 3 years ago,
yeah,
and I just wonder whether I still got it somewhere.
uh, but yeah, so the my point basically is that they are using yeah, they're not building everything from ground up, but they are using an SDK that's actually good and working.
Yeah.
And the SDK actually has some benefits. So there's something called IBC, inter blockchain what is it, protocol or something. And basically the idea of it is that you're not able to do this on Cronos, but or not yet. I'm not sure if it will come in the future. But for example, when you make a smart contract on Terra, it can directly interact with another blockchain on that's built on Cosmos using the IBC protocol.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so there you're not uh, there's no need to have a bridge or anything like that. And yeah,
Okay.
to explain everything in detail, it's a bit hard, but
Of, yeah,
it's
of
like
course,
a
of course.
new emerging project to basically solve some of the problems from going from one blockchain to another blockchain.
Okay. So
But
that would, sorry, Lena. So that would make Chronos much more scalable than BSC.
yeah, this is one thing, and the other thing, it's way easier to interact. Like it just fits better into like the whole ecosystem of a lot of different blockchains. It's easier to make apps that work across blockchains and communicate across them. So one example is, for example, if you have maybe a big D app that has like 20 different staking pools that utilizes different other staking pools from other chains. With the IBC technology, you would basically be able to use it directly, and from one chain to deposit on the other chain would be super easy. While if you use something that's not connected to the IBC, then it's way more difficult. You need to bridge to every of those blockchains and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
there's a small problem because Terra, for example, it's a final blockchain. Or how, so what I explained about Bitcoin, that every block like or block can have false information. This means that, for example, after 5 blocks, the chain can be reordered, and you revert the last 5 blocks and um, mine other blocks. And basically, what this means is that you need to wait a certain amount of blocks before you can be sure, when you, for example, deposit to one wallet, before you can be sure that this deposit actually is valid.
Yes.
And Terra, for example, is finalized, so this is not the case there.
Okay.
So there's so there you can like what most bridges do today, they wait like 20, 30, 50 blocks before they say, okay, the deposit is valid. Now I send it on the other blockchain. Uh, this is not needed there, but they're still missing the integration with Cronos. But yeah, now it's I have the feeling I'm like getting too technical right now. So basically, what my point is just that Cronos is actually trying to work on having a blockchain that is better at communicating with other blockchains, and it's not
Hmm.
like Binance Smart Chain, just another clone of Ethereum that doesn't do anything special.
Yeah.
So I think they are trying to be innovative, and at the same time, they are backed by a big exchange that right now is using a lot of funds on marketing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those,
Let's talk about that, Leonard. With as far as who the backer is of Kronos and the real life use cases right now of Kronos, what are they?
so like the biggest project I'm in on Kronos right now, it's called Finance. So it's basically an exchange, like PancakeSwap or something like that.
Mm.
But they are also making a lot of different tokens. They have really great staking pools where you get crazy API, um, and their tokens have also been, like their staking pools have been super stable for the last few months and so on. So this is, for example, one of the use cases right now that I think is super great on Cronos, and I don't know of any other project right now that has the same stability with the same API on
Did you
any
say?
other chain.
Sorry, did you say VVS Finance?
No, it's Finance.
MF, have you
So
got a link, please?
um,
Oh, I've got it
it's
here. Finance. I just found it.
yeah,
I was in the Chronos page. So let me just put the link here so that we've got reference for everybody.
yeah. So the first big exchange on Cronos, it was actually VVS Finance, but this is my opinion. But in my opinion, they kind of really fucked up. They got backed by Crypto.com, and basically their token is just losing and losing value. So they had all the great backing and so on, but they just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Um, they didn't do anything special or push it enough, so the value actually goes up. So I think in volume right now, Finance has overtaken VVS Finance,
Wow.
and I
There's
also
already
know that. Yeah,
there's
what were you
already more
saying?
than $1 billion in total value locked.
Yeah, I think it's almost two. Yeah, what was it?
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I also have another link here. So since Cronos is a new blockchain, a lot of the stuff that we have on the other chains is just not out on Cronos yet. Because they're like you need infrastructure besides just the blockchain. For example, to make graphs, you basically need to take all the information out from the Kronos from the blockchain and save it to a database so you can make a graph over the token value or so on. Because interacting directly with the blockchain, it's just way too slow. So that's why, for example, a lot of charting solutions and so on, they're first coming up now, and some of like the great tools to analyze the market, like something like KuCoin and so
Mm.
on, they are not on Kronos chain, and yeah, it takes some time. I think we're still in an early stage
Yeah.
to get these things on the chain, but yeah, it's coming. And
Yeah.
I think you also need to take into account that the Kronos blockchain still is in beta. So um, to be honest, there are sometimes still some hiccups with the blockchain. So for example, Finance, they released an NFT some weeks ago, and basically the blockchain was unusable for 1 hour or something. It was
Wow.
it was really
What,
insane.
what was it
But
because of the sheer number of people that were trying to claim
yeah,
it?
yeah, exactly. To
Yeah.
mint the NFTs.
You know what?
But
I don't think it's provided after a little bit, and it's not. We're not talking of days. It comes back and it's usable. I think it's just teething problems that are normal in a blockchain. And when there are developers that work and keep improving it, I don't see that as a major obstacle to the blockchain becoming mainstream. And that's why a blockchain like Ethereum, although it's a little bit better now, but although at a certain point the gas fees were completely stupid. I mentioned here before, the last time that I traded an NFT on Ethereum, probably a year ago, I spent $165 to send it, and I
yeah,
refused after that. However, the great thing about that is that it's valid, it's working. At the same time, I'm not willing to pay that sort of money to transact on a blockchain.
yeah,
So these teething problems, as far as I'm concerned, are part of the growth of the blockchain, of the development. I'm not too worried about it.
yeah. I just said that because I don't want to be too one-sided. Like like I don't like there are still some problems, and Kronos also has big competitors like for example Avalanche, Solana, and so on. Um, Especially Avalanche because it's also EVM based, and yeah, basically it's just as easy to go over to Avalanche as it is to Kronos right now.
Mm.
So yeah, that was just my point, that it's not perfect. There are some problems, but I think, or like my opinion is that it has good room to grow, and yeah, that it's probably still quite early for projects on Kronos
Hmm.
because a lot of the stuff that exists on other chain is not available on Kronos yet.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So thank you for that, Leonard. So we discussed probably the best swap to use on CRO, which is MMF, MM Crypto or MM Finance. You gave us a link for a sort of let's call it the PooCoin of Cronos, yeah, the screener.
Yeah,
And what about launch pads? Where do we find new pre-sales launching on Kronos?
or it's actually so 1 second was I think Crowfi it's called. I'm just trying to find the links right now.
That's okay.
So they are also not, there is nothing like ping sale at this point yet.
Okay,
So there's still like something that dominates the market. Um, I'm just
which is
trying
good
to
because
find.
which is good because it gives me a job.
Yeah. Um, 1 second. Um,
Or do projects normally just launch on crypto.com?
no. They use Launchpads. So this is one of them. I'm just
Okay,
asking.
Crowfi.
uh, So yeah, right now I'm not using that many Launchpads.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It's just to have
So
an
I
idea.
just asked my teams for other links because there are a lot of Launchpads coming up, and I'm, for example, also in the private sale of something
Mm.
called Litbit. They want
Yes.
to make a Launchpad and so on. So there is still nothing that dominates the market
Yeah.
until now. I think MM Finance also just announced a launchpad for projects that are not directly, yeah, that they don't directly support. So there have been a few launchpads through their platform for projects that they like. I don't know the word right now for it. Yeah, basically that they were supporting. But they are also making something called Madbox on MM Finance, if you want to
Yep.
look at that.
Okay.
I think there are still some requirements to get in there, but it's not like as closely yeah, associated with MM Finance as their normal
Okay.
launchpad.
Yeah. All right. All right. No, that's okay. Thank you. And again, we know that there would be more launch pads, but just to give us an idea of where we can find new projects. Speaking of which, what's the market like on Kronos at the moment? Are there a lot of new projects coming up?
Yeah, so from what I've seen, there are a lot of new projects coming up. But in my opinion, there are also right now a lot of scams, and
Mm.
so so there are good projects coming up, but I think you also need to be super careful because on, for example, Binance Margin and so on, all these big projects are there already, but they are not there on Kronos yet. So there are a lot of small shit projects that basically promise we are gonna do this and this and this. We are gonna be the new pink sale. and then they do a fair launch or something and have basically zero funds and maybe copy paste some codes, but there's just a complete trash project. So I think there are good projects coming up, but there are also a lot of bad projects that are
Yeah.
using the chain to
To scam.
scam.
Well, I know I knew that, or I know that you wanted to touch a little bit on the aspect of safety. Do you have any
Yeah,
tips
so
for our community, please?
so it's something that I just see often, that people do stupid stuff, and so one of the main things is that the blockchain usually, like, sometimes there are big hacks, but usually the blockchain itself is safe, but it's the users that do stupid stuff, what ends up that, or like that gives scammers the possibility to get some funds from users. So the first most important thing I really hope that everyone knows here, like, giving your private key to anyone, it's just, it's something you never should do. I really hope that everyone knows it here, but I'm just repeating it to make sure. And another thing is that you really shouldn't, like, associate your identity with your wallet. So for example, I've seen like some project on Ethereum where you can get, like, basically get your name on your blockchain wallet, and then it's the same as the Telegram username and so on. If you don't have that many funds, it might not be a big problem, but basically what this, like, what possibility this gives is that a hacker sees a wallet, or just a scammer sees a wallet, and they can easily find out who owns the wallet, and then they can specifically target you. So normally they just, for example, write out to all Telegram users in crypto groups. But if they actually have a specific wallet and so on and know you have it, this just makes their job easier. They know you have a lot of funds, then they can target you. But it can also be like, then they know you maybe might have a lot of money on a centralized exchange and so on. Um, Actually, I'm trying to find it. I listened to a podcast a few days ago that really touched the subject on what actually is going on, like, with all the people like hacking and scamming wallets right now. This
Okay.
is mostly about centralized exchanges, but I think it still gives a lot of good tips, and it also gives a lot of context to yeah understand what
What's
like
happening? Yeah.
what's happening.
Basically, Leonard, I couldn't agree more. And as Greek said, we talked about the Ethereum wallets in maybe a week ago or so here in our group. As far as I'm concerned, I actually have been a strong advocate of privacy on the blockchain and privacy tokens, not because I'm the worst criminal on earth, but because no one should know what I'm doing with my finances. I think it should be a human right, a fundamental human right. And so I never, ever, ever want to put my real identity in anything that has to do with crypto. But if you do, and you get hacked, all of a sudden, as you said, people can steal the funds in your own wallet. People can find out if you have, as you said, a lot of money on a centralized exchange like Binance. If they got your identity, and they can see and they can find you, they can find where you live. They come to your house, they put a gun to your head, and they say, now you transfer those funds to me.
This
They
is
can also
this is
yeah.
actually, like, in the podcast, they also talk about this. This is basically what happened to some people.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Coinbase had a bug where you could see which email, like which account associated to which email had how many funds. So then people basically went in. They fixed this bug now, but they could see like what user, what email had millions of funds, and with the email they found the Facebook account, they found the name of the wife, and so on. And then basically, one instance, I think, for example, they blackmailed the wife to like accept or like tell the hacker the 2FA code or like the code that is being sent over SMS
Mm-hmm.
uh, from their boyfriend or their husband to the hacker and stole all the funds this way. So
Yeah.
there's always this aspect that if people know how much money you actually have and also what tokens you have, that you can be targeted more
Of,
easy.
of course, of course, and yeah, of course. So yeah,
Yeah,
safety is paramount, guys. Please maintain your privacy on crypto. Do not trust anyone. You can't
yeah.
trust anyone in this space.
Not
And
even us, to be
no,
honest. Like,
no, no, of
I
course.
mean, I could say trust me, but just don't do it.
No, 100%.
Um,
And you know what? I've been telling our friends here many times. Don't trust me. You cannot trust me. I could be the nastiest person on earth, and you don't know me. So don't trust
yeah,
anyone.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Thank you for
Also,
that. Anything else? Any other
yeah.
tips?
So I wanted. Wait, I'm just sending the link to the podcast now.
Thank you.
Um, so yeah,
Nice.
basically I wanted to like talk a little bit about like when you connect your wallet to a website. So there's this misconception that as soon as you connect your wallet to a website, your wallet can basically be hacked. And this is actually not true. So the thing what the website gets once you like for example have MetaMask and connect your wallet, it gets the address of your wallet. Then you again what I talked about, you have the problem that then like they might know who you are and so on and how much you have on your account, but this doesn't give access to your funds. But once this website then sends the transaction to MetaMask and you have accept something, this is the point where your funds can actually get stolen. So logging, like connecting your wallet to a shady website doesn't do anything, but accepting transactions from a shady website is actually super bad.
Okay. I think we need to repeat this, Leonard. So
Yeah.
how do we get hacked in whether it's BSC,
So
Ethereum, Chrono?
so
How does it happen?
so basically you have your private key. Um, this is like yeah, the key to your bank safety box, and this key can't be copied unless you send it to someone else. There's basically like right now there's no way to just guess this key. But what happens like every time there's a transaction that you like confirm inside your MetaMask, um, then you sign it. Basically, you open the bank box with your key, and most users are just not, yeah, technical enough to actually be able to look at what transaction am I accepting. Like,
Hmm.
uh, so this is where the hacker maybe puts in approval for a different coin or something like that, and
Yeah.
then steals the coin from your wallet. But what I've actually seen something today. So this is actually a security flaw in my opinion in the Tor chain um, yeah token. So what I saw is someone sent a token using MetaMask. They just press send to some random token to get it out of their wallet. And in the smart contract, they abused a flaw in the Tor chain token to basically take all the Tor chain tokens from their wallets. Um, so there can also be like this may be another thing, like when you get these random coins on your wallet,
Hmm.
don't interact with them in any way, because
Yeah.
usually this token shouldn't be able to do anything, but there's still the possibility that your wallet has been targeted because you maybe hold another token that maybe the token is able, like when you initiate the send transaction, that the token is able to send another token away from your wallet.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
Actually,
probably
yeah.
more an edge case, but it's just generally like if there's some stupid scam token on your wallet or a token you don't know where it comes from, even though maybe it has a lot of value,
Yeah.
just don't interact with it in any way.
That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned it because I never even think about it. I know instinctively, if somebody sends me $500,000 worth of tokens that I never heard of before, I'm pretty, I know that there's something not quite right. But yeah, if you look at your wallet on BSC Scan, guys, you will see a lot of tokens sitting there. So do not interact with them. Do not claim them. Do not transact. And, uh, and Leonard, based on what you said before as well, probably one of the most important things we can do is to not connect our wallet to dodgy websites. Correct?
Well, you can still connect it if you are like if it's for example a wallet tracker or something, you're not completely
Hmm.
sure. There won't happen anything if you just connect the wallet. But
Okay.
as soon as you like accept any transaction from this website, there might be like a problem, and they might make you like sign a transaction that actually sends some other tokens from your wallet.
Just a question, actually, this is my personal question. If I go to a Web3 website and the websites ask me to connect,
Yeah,
can a hacker hide a transaction
no,
in that
that's not
on?
possible. So
Okay,
that's my point. When you
okay,
just press on connect, the hacker is not able to do anything. But then
okay.
when something in, for example, MetaMask or whatever you use pops up, like accept this transaction,
Yes,
that's the
yes,
point where something can happen.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, actually, because
So yeah,
I've always wondered
yeah.
whether that was possible or not. Awesome.
And,
Well,
and
yeah, this is good.
yeah, I think I still have like one last point. So
Yes,
if you
please.
can afford it and yeah, want to use it, like Ledger is actually also a good thing to have, because basically what also can happen is that you get a virus on your computer. Like there might be a vulnerability inside of Telegram and so on to send a virus to your computer. I mean, there are even examples of that you just open a website and people gain access to your computer. And they're like these hacker conferences every year. So it's a challenge every year to access your computer by just accessing a website. And sometimes the website is accessed inside a virtual machine on your computer, but then the hackers are actually able to access the machine that the virtual machine is running on. So there's always the possibility, like I wouldn't be too worried about it, because these vulnerabilities, like on the black market, they cost millions of dollars. So usually it's just governments and so on that use them. But if you want to be completely sure, then having a hardware wallet actually helps, because it separates. So what happens on the hardware wallet, like your private key is connected or like saved only on the hardware wallet. Then your computer sends a transaction to it. There you have the software, and then you have to hope that the software doesn't put some wrong information in the transaction. This, like, I think it's really, I don't think it will happen normally. I mean, everything is possible, but this should not happen at
Yeah.
all. And then it's sent to the wallet. The wallet basically signs it with the private key, like the bank key, and then sends the signed transaction back. So your PC is never able to read what's on the like what the private key is on your hardware wallet, and this just gives you the safety that if your computer is hacked, that that the hackers at least don't have access to your private key. They can still
Yeah.
make you sign wrong transactions, but I also don't think like the possibility of this happening, it's also like not that
Remote.
great. So
Yeah.
so there's never absolute security, but you can make it as secure as possible.
Yeah. I think that's a good point to make. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much for those tips. I've put them. I wrote them down in all capital letters. Um, so I'll put them all together later, guys, and we might make a pin or something like that. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really good. Now, speaking about Kronos, we've got about 10 minutes left. Let's see if we have a couple of questions about this or safety. Since we've got Leonard,
Yeah.
feel free to ask what you desire. So let's listen to Legendary Gods. Unmuted Legendary Gods.
Oh yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, so this has been a very interactive class, and I've learned quite a lot here. So I came quite late actually, so um I would like to know the class was it teaching us about how to be a good investor. Oh yeah.
Can you maybe rephrase your question?
Yeah, I said I
I'm
came
not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I said I came a bit late to the call, and I was asking, are you just introducing the project or letting us know more about how to invest in, in projects that come our way? Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the point was maybe to give an introduction to Kronos, and also just some general background about like what is Kronos and like how all this ecosystem works. Um, so yeah, basically the point was introduction of Kronos, but I think I also explained a lot of information around it to yeah, make everyone more knowledgeable about the blockchain and so on.
Yeah, and excuse me. And if you guys want to know more about Kronos itself, new projects coming up, things like that, please join Kronis, which is the Telegram channel where that Leonard is part of, and it's a channel completely dedicated to Kronos, which is a blockchain, just like BSC, Legendary Gods.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you.
thanks, buddy. Yeah, I was unable to join the group. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Greek, do you have a question?
Thank you very much, Pip. Thanks a lot, Leonard. So my question is centered around the developer aspect of Kronos. At the moment now, it's easy to get developers that are sound, that know a lot about creating BSC smart contracts and all like that. So how is it on the developer aspect? Is it easy to get sound developers to create projects in on this chain?
Yeah, so basically it's nearly exactly the same. So MMF Finance is basically like kind of a clone of what is it called?
Pancake swap.
Yeah, PancakeSwap and all the other exchanges also. And yeah, it's basically all based on Unicrypt. So and it's using the same programming language and so on. So a contract that works on Binance Smart Chain should almost work out of the box on Kronos you maybe need to change some addresses and maybe change the name of the function to trade or something, but that's it. So everyone who's actually able to make smart contracts on BSC should also be able to make smart contracts on Cronos.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks, Greg. And finally, Chief Crypto. Unmuted.
Yana, for the opportunity. I just want to ask something. These Kronos, I know it's I'm new to this whole concept, but is it the same? Is it the same as crypto blockchain and every other thing? Do they run it the same way? Does it run the same way, or is it totally different from the other ones that are already available?
So basically, it is the same. So there are some small differences, but what you see as a user, it is, in my opinion, completely the same. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but when you interact with it, it's the same. In the background, there might be some stuff that works a little bit different, but as an end user, it's nothing you really will notice.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, so you won't see anything.
I'm saying because I'm new to it. Yeah. Thank you.
And that's fine. Thank you for coming and asking. That's exactly why we have these online classes. And just we're all learning. I learned something new today about that. The fact that a hacker cannot hide a hacking transaction when you connect the wallet, and I'm so glad about that. I think if you want to see how the capital that is behind Cronos with the crypto.com, just actually visit crypto.com, guys, and see, even the ads that they run, who's in the ad. I believe they also ran an ad during the Super Bowl during the break, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of money behind the blockchain. Awesome. So yeah, we don't have any more questions.
Maybe the last thing is getting funds over from.
Oh yes, from another chain.
Yeah. So what I have seen is the best router right now is this one, and then you can. I'm just gonna find the links real fast.
Yeah. But while you're doing that, Leonard, I'll say this. I actually have a credit card with crypto.com because it's pretty much one of the only ones that we can get here in Australia, where I can actually spend my crypto on a day-to-day basis. So I go to the shop and I spend my crypto using the crypto.com card. So in that case, you need to do full KYC, of course, with crypto.com. Because of anti-money laundering laws and everything like that. So I send my BNB, Ethereum, whatever it is, to crypto.com, and then inside the crypto.com exchange, I change it into Cronos, or I put it on the credit card and things like that. But yeah, obviously, there are other ways of doing that, and I think Leonard just posted the link.
Yeah, so this is what I usually use to bridge from BNB to Cronos. The only problem here is that you don't get any CRO, so you need someone to maybe send you like 1 or 2 CRO or something on Cronos if you're using this bridge. There's
Okay, so let me just have a look at your screenshot. All right, yeah, okay. So you use that as a bridge.
Hear me? Oh, yeah, okay. Just said my connection timed out. But yeah, that's what I use as a bridge because
Okay.
I don't have an account with crypto.com.
Yeah, fair enough. Is it available in Denmark?
Yes, it is, but
It is, all right.
I'm hesitant to like go on too many KYC things
I know it's
because
yeah.
like filing taxes, it's like a full-time job because you need
Let-
to take it's every transaction you need to file and how much you earned and lost on every transaction.
Yep.
And
Let's
then yeah,
that's the topic for another class
yeah.
of 10 hours.
So the taxes can go over 100% here. So I think it's fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, Don't get me started. I'm not starting on this. Australia is pretty much the same, but yeah, I'm not talking about this. Anyway, all right. So thank you for that link as well. In fact, thank you for your time for coming here. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. It's been so good to be able to listen to you explain not just about Cronos, but about the blockchain, about safety on the blockchain, which is of paramount importance. And of course, guys, if you want to learn more about Cronos, if you want to know about upcoming projects, any questions like that, please join Cronos, the Telegram channel. The link is just up there, and I will post it again. That's the link. That is a channel of friends that focuses 100% on that chain. I'm part of it because, like Leonard, I think Cronos is going to become absolutely huge. So if you come there, I will see you too. But yeah, Leonard, once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, community.
No
yeah, do you want to say anything at the end?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was a nice experience, and I hope you liked it. I'm not the best at doing this stuff, but I hope it was still good.
Oh, it was excellent. You were really good, Leonard. So again, thank you so much, and thank you all. I'll see you at the AMA tomorrow night. Goodbye.
Goodbye.